Blog Talk Radio.
Everybody, you're on Business Credit Radio, and we're on blogtalkradio.com. We are the voice for credit and finance professionals worldwide. Today's show is brought to you by the Credit Management Association, a proud affiliate of NACM that has helped business-to-business companies with their credit, collection, and financial decisions since 1883. Contact CCMA at www.creditmanagementassociation.org or for more details on how CCMA can benefit you and CCMA Contract Consulting Services, providing world-class B2B credit and collection management consulting services nationwide. Call 815-765-1589 or visit ccma-llc.com for more information. At CCMA, credit is what we know, it's all we do. Let CCMA show you the way today. We're going to introduce the co-anchor for tonight's show, which is Eddie. Say hi, Eddie.
Hi, Phil. How are you?
I'm good. How's the weather out there in Southern California today?
Today is cloudy. It was a little rain in the morning. They are anticipating more rain this evening, so it's very gloomy right now. You don't see the sun quite bright. Mostly clouds covering the mountain in my area. But still, I like it. It gives you
now, you may have heard through the weather channels out there that this area that I happen to be in, which is west and north of Chicago, was in a dry spell all last winter. Or summer, last summer, really dry. Well, I tell you what, I'm sitting here with 3 feet of snow on the ground right now, and starting tomorrow, it's going to get up to 40 degrees and rain. And not just rain, I mean rain like an SOB. It's going to be bad. We're going to have a lot of rain and a lot of melting snow. Give me a call, will you, the day after that, and let me know if I'm still here. I could float right away. Today's show is being brought to you by CCMA, and we're talking to Mr. Norman Taylor. Today we're indeed honored to welcome Mr. Norman Taylor, who is the author of The Long 10 Feet, which was printed in the NACM February 2013 edition of Business Credit Magazine. Mr. Taylor will also be presenting 2032, the Complete Financial Analyst at the NACM Credit Congress and Exposition 2013, this May in Las Vegas, Nevada. Yahoo! Today's program discussion is that article, The Long 10 Feet. Hello, Norman. Say hi to our whole audience, which is probably nationwide.
Hello, everybody, and I hope you're all having better weather than Phil is having. And I'd like to thank Phil and Eddie for giving me the honor to be on the show today and to present this material.
Well, I asked Norman to put a little bio together on himself. I asked it to be short, and he says, oh, yeah, it's short. Go ahead, Norman, tell us about yourself.
All right, well, here's the two most important pieces, I think, from 40 years of doing this. I'm one of those rare people who is descended from a credit manager. My father, who passed away last year, was credit manager for retail operation, and he was an inspiration to me in form of he was one of the first people I'm aware of to motivate credit people in the same way that salespeople motivate their people. He had a piece in a major tire company's newsletter where he would honor his top 5 credit people. And my job at 12 years old was to draw caricature pictures of them. And he would bring home their photographs and their nicknames. I remember one guy in particular named Richard Flash Hawkins, and Richard probably wasn't really that much of a flash, but I noticed at Credit Congress a lot of the talk this year is how did we get into this profession? How did we get into this job? So I can always point to how it happened. I can't say it was a straight shot, but what Dad taught to me at 12 years old about dealing with people and the value of motivating them. I don't care what profession they were in. They didn't have to sell stuff and get a silver line jacket in a trip somewhere. He knew how to motivate his people. And just one other thing, National Association of Credit Management asked me some 16 years ago to be one of the authors of the Principles of Credit Management, which is the book that credit's taught from nationwide. And I wrote several of those chapters and edited several others, and still very happy they allowed me to do that. So that's it. That's my bio.
That's your bio, huh? Okay. Well, we loved your article, The Long 10 Feet. I personally I like this type of venue for our show because this takes us away from the stuffed shirt collar type of, credit and collection management, dry mouth type of thing. It takes us into an area that every common man, every common person out there has had the opportunity to go through, and that is stage fright. For all intents and purposes, that's what your article is about, is it not?
Yes.
Well, I'll tell you what, I've had a few in my day. I know Eddie has, but tell us your story. Tell us how you have it here in the article. Tell us how you came about doing this, and then, of course, the whole experience yourself.
Okay, and what I'm going to do here for the sake of simplicity, I think, and I'm going to read from my PowerPoint I have on this, and anybody who wants a copy of this is welcome to it. It's not a whole lot of Buck Rogers stuff, like Phil says. It's a soft skill, but it's a soft skill without which we can't get anywhere. And but anyway, my email address is Norman, Norman, Taylor, Taylor, at Morris, Morris.com. And anybody that wants a copy of this PowerPoint, I'll be happy to send it to them. But, basically, as we all probably know, studies show that for most people, fear of speaking is equivalent to or beyond the fear of death. I didn't realize till I wrote this article it has a name. It's glossophobia, the fear of speaking in public or of trying to speak. I like those last 4 or 5 words because it kind of tells us what we're really up to, right? We're trying to speak. We may not be getting there very well. The fear can even extend to the fear of physical objects associated with speaking. Microphone, mic cords, and that actually has a name, amazingly enough, microphone cord phobia. But the long 10 feet is the distance between the podium and the place you're seated. You're sitting waiting to speak next. And, of course, the speaker before you is very polished and doing a fantastic job, and you're sitting there trying not to be afraid how bad you think.
The person in front of you has got to be better than you.
Right, always. It's an unwritten rule, and I'll talk a little bit more about that in a minute. In a minute, I'm going to try to pyramid this a little bit and get to the point and then kind of tell of the experience that I had. But you feel kind of like somebody took a bicycle pump and filled your head with air, and you get a small lake of saliva under your tongue, and your peripheral vision gets like a turtle inside his shell, and you're trying to walk to the stage, but you can't see anything, you can't hear anything, your head's thundering, your knees are definitely wobbly. And so I am going to try to give you something that's going to help with that. And my first suggestion, like I say, before I tell you how I came by these ideas, because until I came by these ideas, I was totally worthless. And like credit people, we're up in front of the sales guys that are mad, or sales ladies that are mad about the fact you didn't ship the last order, and you don't get a lot of experience at speaking in public maybe, and you've got to get up in front of this angry crowd. But I'll just throw it out there and elaborate on it some more later in this call. Find that thing that makes you concentrate on something you enjoy more than you think about your fear. And you say, is there such a thing? I was in a seminar in New York in 1991, and I was having a miserable time. Everybody in there was just like I said. There was a guy next to me in a 3-piece suit that looked like it was painted on him, and he just gave his presentation. We got there, and they said, get up and talk 5 minutes. So he gets up and makes a brilliant speech, and the next person is a lady in the military, and she's just as self-confident as she can get, and I'm a Southerner in this crowd. Conscientious about my, no, you never guess that. Conscientious about my southern accent. And I asked the guy next to me in the three-piece suit, I said, what are you doing here? And he said, well, it was the equivalent of telling me in basketball talk that he had trouble dribbling the ball between his legs behind his back with his left hand. I mean, I just don't feel comfortable doing such and such. And I'm like, I don't feel comfortable getting up there. So for about 2 days, 2.5 days, I just went through absolute torture. And then I heard the 5 or 6 words that literally changed my life. The lady, and I can't leave this part out. When we got there, they said, you're going to have our best instructor. Well, I knew, of course, this was going to be the meanest human being I ever met, and she was. I mean, she was just merciless. So on about the 3rd day, she's up there talking, and I'm trying to listen to her, and she says, when you speak to people, imagine that you're giving them a gift. Now, I can't say that works for everybody. It just happened to be the words that worked for me. And I thought, hey, I like giving people a gift. If I get up there and I put stuff in my material, I mean, I knew the topic of credit. That wasn't the problem. I knew my business. And I thought, if I get up there and speak about something that I know is going to be a gift for them, it's going to be something that will help them through their day, their work day, and tools they can use. I've been fortunate enough to work for a few companies that were on the cutting edge of the credit profession, and I usually was blessed with a little bit more learning than some of the people that I was presenting to, so I thought, I will find a gift. And if I represent this material, I will make sure it is not stale, because I will find a new gift before I do it again. Now, a gift is contribution to something that will benefit the listener in some way, knowledge, efficiency, networking. It might not be that thing for you. Giving people a gift may mean nothing to you, but there's all kinds of other things. You can focus on the reward you'll get from being able to do this. I remember when I worked for Wrangler Jeans, there were 3 of us asked to just show up at a hotel without any idea what we were going for, and the one that was brave enough to get up on the podium and try it wound up going to Brussels with Wrangler International for 2 years, and the rest of us, the other 2 guys, we wound up staying home.
Was that a punishment, or was that a...
No, not a punishment. It just wasn't a reward. So we saw what the other guy got from it, and he moved on professionally far better than we did. So there's a reward. Mm-hmm. Making your family proud that you overcome it. Career advancement. Making yourself more secure with your skill sets in a progressively more challenging world. And, you can even extend it to your daily life. You can say, well, you know what? I was able to focus on something that, I get my voice back here, focus on something that carried me through my biggest challenge. Now what about that next thing? What about this problem I've got at work? Can I focus on something that enables me to tackle that? So, to me, that's the absolute biggest thing. If you hear nothing else from this presentation, I would like you to carry that away. And working in the newspaper business as I do now, they teach the writers to pyramid things, but the most important things first and cascade down from there. So now that I've delivered what I think is the big enchilada, I'm going to go on to some other things. And what I'm going to say is, we want to avoid being like the golfer who watches videos of his swings, reads books, asks friends, interprets the entrails of an ox cast on a tree by the full moon, and comes up with like 19 ways to fix his swing. Just want a few key things that we can master. We don't need to just cover ourselves up with ideas. The next thing is, I think, come up with a solid opener. If you can get through the first several minutes of your presentation, you're probably going to find you're okay. Although sometimes after 5 minutes, you're like.
Would you like to hear more? This is Phil Philbin, the radio talk show host on Business Credit Radio. This full version is available at www.blogtalkradio.com, or you can go to our website at ccma-llc.com. I'm Phil Philbin for Business Credit Radio, and we'll leave the phone lines open for you.